gaslighting, being told, no, you shouldn't be feeling like that. That's not normal to feel that way. It's just crazy making, and it's going to make you become more and more sick. And the thing is, this then plays into the narrative of like, oh, well, look, they're being so hysterical, because of course it's going to make anyone feel that way. Hey, my name's Jack, and welcome to States Unlocked. It's the place to learn about social psychology, human behavior, and also learn practical tips on how you can improve your life. If you want to understand yourself and others better and unlock higher states of consciousness, be sure to hit subscribe, hit the bell icon so you're notified whenever I upload a new video. And without further ado, we're going to get into the topic of this video, which is narcissism within family dynamics. I'm going to be looking at Britney Spears and the conservatorship case and everything to do with that. So before I continue, I want to clarify that I am not qualified to diagnose anyone with narcissistic personality disorder or anything else for that matter, but this is just made for entertainment and educational purposes. First of all, what's going on with Britney Spears is tremendously sad. I think everyone can agree with that. But the reason I want to make this video is because it's not all that uncommon, to be honest. Obviously, this is a bit of a, it's an incredibly bizarre situation, to say the absolute least. Because she is so famous, she is so wealthy in theory. Obviously, she doesn't have control over that wealth. But that's why a lot of people are very shocked about this particular situation. However, it's not that uncommon to see the patterns that seem to be at play in her family within everyday families. And in fact, it's way more common than we would like to believe. Many people could argue that obviously again, I can't diagnose her father or anyone else, but it definitely seems that he has some tendencies of narcissism. Okay, so when I say narcissism, we all have traits of narcissism, but I'm talking about the severe end of the spectrum, so where it would verge into narcissistic personality disorder. And the reason I think that is because the things that his daughter has said, that she has said she felt and feels, ought to be listened to, and the fact that it's gotten to the point that it's gotten to really indicates that there's been very little empathy shown towards her. She doesn't feel listened to, she doesn't feel heard, and you know that this has been widespread. I'm sure she made a comment about how she doesn't feel supported by her family and she wants to sue them. So this is something that, again, obviously none of us really know. None of us know the ins and the outs. None of us know in terms of every single different family member's perspective and, you know, all the things that have happened. So this is merely conjecture. All we can do is postulate. But what I would say is that these kind of family systems in which there's narcissism are really common, and it tends to go something like this. So you have one or more people who have narcissistic personality disorder, or that are severe narcissists on that end of the spectrum, and it usually tends to be one main narcissist. So they're the puppet master of the whole family. They're the one who are calling the shots and kind of manipulating everyone, unbeknownst to the family members, okay? And then you have the people who are going along with it. So, you know, in kind of the narcissism world, this is known as flying monkeys. So the people that usually it's the children, so people that do the bidding for the narcissist, they kind of do the dirty work and they will actually keep the dynamic in place. And so narcissistic family units are all about control, they're all about manipulation, and basically, yeah, just to control other people. So usually the narcissist will play people off against one another. So there will be a golden child, so the child that gets all the kind of, you know, they're treated completely different to the scapegoat. So the scapegoat is the one that is bullied and that is taken advantage of the most. I mean, everyone's taken advantage of in that in the narcissist game, but that is the person that is singled out, and there's very little empathy shown to that person. Now, often this person is the person that is deemed to be the weakest, but in actual fact, it's the person who has the most empathy, is the most caring, sometimes can be codependent, but it's the person that is wanting to please and is wanting to do right by the family, and they've been conditioned in that way. Now, I would argue that Britney Spears definitely falls into that category. Now, I don't know her, and again, we only have a snapshot of what we see from the media. We don't know a person really even though we might feel like we do, we don't. But from what is out there, it does seem that she is a very sweet, kind-hearted person. And she wanted to please her family, and she wanted to do what she was told, and she always did what she was told and things like that. And that really goes along the lines of someone that is more of a people pleaser and that is going to be a lot more easily manipulated. It's abuse, and it's very upsetting. It's very upsetting, and the fact that this happens a lot is appalling. But I want you to know, if you're watching this and you're thinking, well, actually this happened to my family, I've been made the scapegoat, I'm being bullied by my family, and I can't talk to anyone about it, like, I want you to know that this is incredibly common. And that doesn't make it any less painful, but it's to say that there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing that you have done to make this happen. This is an unfortunate part of evolution that happens for one reason or another. Honestly, I do think it stems down to insecurity and people needing to control others, and like, a lot of the people who are the like dictators and that have been dictators are like highly insecure, and they really feel the need to control everything around them and all of the people and circumstances in their lives. And in the case of Britney Spears, obviously, I mean, it's not unfathomable to think that there could be some jealousy there, because she has actually made a lot of money. She's got a lot of notoriety, a lot of popularity, and this is something that, if you can control someone like that, then how powerful are you going to feel? Now, obviously, it's messed up, because if that's your family, regardless of who that is, you shouldn't be treating a person like that. But if that is your family member, your own daughter or your own sister, then that is really not okay. Narcissism tends to run in families, okay? So it tends to be that they can be within a narcissistic family unit, people tend to go along one of two paths. So they end up becoming narcissists as well, or they will become codependent. Now, the person that's codependent is more likely to be victimized and made the scapegoat, because, as I said before, they're deemed as weaker, which is really not okay. It's really messed up, but that is the kind of way that a narcissist will see someone that is codependent, because they're an easy victim. They're easy to manipulate and take advantage of, and just to jump through hoops, etc. Oftentimes, the family members that are following the lead narcissist, they are, they can't speak out against the narcissist, even if they can see that behavior is downright wrong, and they really don't think it's okay. They can't speak out against it, because they know they've learned unconsciously that if they were to do that, they might be made the victim. Okay, so a lot of this is really unconscious. In fact, most of it is unconscious. Also, the lack of empathy, I think, stems from the fact that it is normalized within the family system. Okay, so if someone is reacting in a big way, they're crying a lot, and then you see your own mother and father like not responding to that and just like, okay, whatever, who cares, then you're going to start picking up on that, okay? And especially if there's a narrative being created of like, okay, this person's hysterical, they're really overly emotional, they're crazy, whatever the narrative will be, and oftentimes it is that. Lack of sensitivity and the lack of empathy can just get ramped up and up and up and up to the point where people just lose sight of how disgusting they're being. Everyone deserves empathy, everyone needs empathy, and everyone needs to be listened to. And when I say needs, they need it. If you don't have that, you will develop mental illness, and you will feel the lowest of the low you can feel, because we need to feel connected. And we don't just feel connected through going through the motions. We feel connected by connecting, by listening to one another, by actually listening, by saying, I have these feelings, and have other person give those feelings importance. When we say, I have these feelings, and you're met with a brick wall, or you're met with, being stonewalled, or you're met with any other kind of abusive behavior, gaslighting, being told, no, you shouldn't be feeling like that, that's not normal to feel that way. It's just crazy making, and it's going to make you become more and more sick. And the thing is, this then plays into the narrative of like, oh, well, look, they're being so hysterical, because of course it's going to make anyone feel that way. So my heart goes out to Britney Spears and anyone else going through this kind of abuse, because it is abuse. There's no other word for it. I think the fact that she has made so much money and she has achieved such a level of notoriety and is going through this is shocking, but it shouldn't be shocking, really, because, to be honest, some famous people are amongst the most codependent people in the world, and then amongst the most insecure people in the world, because they are really highly driven oftentimes by wanting validation, by needing validation, because someone that feels okay in themselves doesn't, and I'm not saying this about all famous people, but someone that feels truly okay in themselves doesn't have that level of need, okay? The higher level they've got of need is proportionate to the fame, okay? So because that fame has been achieved through the drive that they've got. Okay, now obviously this is like not hard and fast. There's lots of like, you know, exceptions to that. I hope you have enjoyed this video. I do want to say that if you are going through this, you don't have to tolerate it, and it can be really hard to get out of this, but it's happening every single day. It's happening on the street you live on, okay? Like, narcissistic abuse, unfortunately, is incredibly common, but again, every single day people overcome this and people manage to get out of these, you know, maladaptive family systems, and they either have to remove their family from their life altogether, which sadly in the case of Britney Spears it looks like she wants to do, or they manage to find a relationship with their family in which they keep them at arm's length. Personally, if that's an option, I would always think that would be the better thing to do, but obviously you've got to judge it on a case-by-case basis. Once again, if you are going through this, I'm incredibly sorry, but know that there's nothing wrong with you. This is, sadly, it's not normal, but it does happen, okay? It happens a lot, so there's nothing you've done, and you just need to actually stop allowing this behavior as best as you can, okay? And it can be very messy, okay? And it can take a long time to get out of this, but you can get out of this. Many people are doing it, okay? Everyone is capable of doing it, of getting out of this kind of abuse and rebuilding themselves. And what's more, you will be a stronger person for it. I think Britney Spears is incredibly strong to speak out publicly about her family and what she's gone through, and it takes tremendous courage, so I've got the utmost respect for her on that. If you've enjoyed this video, please smash the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon, and also share it with anyone you think might enjoy it. Really helps me out, helps my channel out, and I will see you in the next one. Ciao for now.